Gimmicks, good or bad? My response to Monkey Jim, his Gimmicks good or bad video. Now I have a group of figures here that have a lot of gimmicks and are very different to one another. Now, before I get into those, I just want to completely chuck at Jim and congratulate him on a fantastic idea to make a video talking about this. I'm pretty damn sure I have seen similar stuff to this on the YouTube, which you go into, but Jim, again, as always, he says it as it is, and all of us can only agree to what he has to say. Now, this is a little bot, a mini bot. I should have just said that, shouldn't I? Yeah. Anyway, this is a little mini bot that I wrongly put as Bumblebee originally when I got it, but actually I found out through the awesome community that is the Transformers community, that is you guys watching this video most likely. It was actually Hubcap. So I have G1 Hubcap here, who has a loose head syndrome. Now Gimmicks, like Jim was mentioning in his video, Gimmicks, the figure he showed, which was Prime Ratchet. I also have Prime Ratchet, but this is my response. I don't want to copy completely. So right, we have Hubcap here. You watch, people say that's not Hubcap. But anyway, I'm just going to stick to Hubcap. He looks way too similar to Bumblebee in some respects, and then when you put him into his car mode, yeah, you can kind of see the difference. So we have this guy, Hubcap. His only gimmick, as Prime Ratchet has, is the transformation, which is the most basic and most easiest of all, which is just transformation. Now this is a gimmick, like Jim said, it works because really that's the only gimmick you have. That's all. The Transformers Toyland in a whole has had a gimmick to it more intently than any other Toyland out there. Yes, you've got gimmicks on like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and also Biker Mice from Mars back in the same period of time, back in the 80s period. Masters of the Universe figures and things like that. They all had gimmicks, but none more so, like Jim's rightly said, than Transformers. And obviously, like this guy, his gimmick is transforming, and his other gimmick, but he doesn't have it. He was a little keyring, which is awesome, but he doesn't have the keyring bit. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But then you've got figures like this. Here is, I believe, Armada Cyclonus, I believe. I do apologise if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty damn sure this is Armada Cyclonus. And what I like about this, yes, he has a gimmick. He has missiles. But what I like about these Armada toys, and the whole principal idea, is that I would definitely, this is my personal opinion, other people might say, really? You're really going to say that? But I would definitely say it is a lot more of an ingenious idea for you not to lose the missiles with this specific wave of toys. Let me just mention this. You need a little companion. This is, I believe, Vortex, who's his little mini-con companion, and you have to attach it to the little ports on the side of the arms in order to fire the missiles. Without this guy, and if you have the missiles and you don't have this guy, you will not fire the missiles, which means you will not lose them, which is the main thing. And also hidden weaponry as well, as this guy has like guns inside the legs, which this guy can activate. And also his little gimmick, he is also his own little transformer. This guy's missing his barrel, which I really need to try and get a complete one of these at some point. If anybody's got one to spare, please let me know down below. Thank you. But yes, there's that one. But the most ingenious I must share this same wisdom as Jim said in his video. Is none other. I have got his backpack, the cassette battery pack. It's on the shelf. I've just quickly taken it off the shelf. Soundwave, superior in every way, for he is the master of all Transformers, in my opinion, and many other people's opinion. His gimmick is just revolutionary. Yes, I come from the very end of the cassette player age, where I was born in '89, which means they were dying out by that point. And then CD player, Walkman CD players were the main things that came out during the '90 period, was kind of compact CD players. And then obviously MP3 players, turn of the century, 2000 onwards kind of thing. But I have to say, Soundwave's gimmick is just phenomenal. He is a transformer. He transforms to a Walkman. Many kids, like Jim said, will not remember what a Walkman is. A proper Walkman, which is a cassette player. Then obviously it went to compact disc Walkmans and then MP3s. But this guy is still superior in everywhere, even if he is an obsolete mode in our time zone. But yet his gimmick, he opens up, you have little Ravage inside here, and he also becomes a little figure. Like all of them, you know, Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, they all have a transformation to either a man type, Homo sapien type deal, and then an animal form. So yeah, it's like he is just a phenomenal figure. But then again, you get figures such as, I have to bring this guy into the equation, lovely figure. My opinion, lovely figure. This is, I believe it is is it the Voyager or is it Leader? Sorry, I think it might be Voyager. I'm just going to say Voyager just to be on the safe side. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment box. But this is Starscream, Transformers Prime Starscream. I love Starscream because he's voiced by Steve Bloom and he's one of my favourite voice actors. But that is besides the point of the video. And I just remembered I'm missing a missile here. Oh dear. Oh well. Yes, so now he's 99% complete. That is one of his gimmicks. He has these little missiles that plug onto his wings, and I should have two, one on either side, and I've just realised I am missing one, so I have no idea where that is. Well, not the end of the world. But then he has this big fucking thing. The Mech Tech. The lovely Mech Tech thing that came from, well, what you could call Mech Tech. Yeah, you push it back and you get like the gun and a light shows. Now, for a child, what this is intentionally aimed at, would work out very well. That is a great playability factor in the imagination of a child. But really, to me personally, I think that's just overkill. And a lot of people will probably share my point and opinion on that. I really don't see the point in Mech Tech. Mech Tech was all from the live action movies. I don't have any live action movie figures except for Starscream, which was a gift, and I don't agree with getting rid of gifts. That's my personal opinion, so I've kept that as it was a gift from a good friend Sam, and I've kept that one. That's the only Seeker I have from the movieverse in my collection now. But yeah, I love the figure, but it would have been nice if they had maybe just done something better than just a stupid that. And then you've got figures like this, again a Prime figure. This is Takara's Wild Rider with his elephant gun type companion. Now this is kind of going back to the whole Armada thing in a way. It's because Armada again was a Japanese line. Well, they all were. The whole Unicron trilogy was a Japanese line entirely. But yeah, it is a beautiful figure. Take this thing off, and you've got a great figure. Only problem is you've got two big ports sticking off the end there. Kind of messes up the alt mode for me, even though I do love the figure. I just love this cart. It's brilliant. But then you've got this little companion, which again goes back to the whole little vortex that I showed earlier for Cyclonus there. This is his little. This is actually his gun, which is pretty cool. But again, it's overkill. It's the whole Japanese thing of a companion friend for the actual main character. It's the whole Japanese thing again. I'm a big fan of Japanese stuff, as all of you should know. But I still think this is probably a little bit daft, in my opinion. But I'm not going to try and keep it as really long. So right, again we have a Pram figure. This is Dead End. Yeah, from this guy. He has two swords. He doesn't have any missiles or any guns or anything like that. Even though you could use this guy with him, as it's essentially the same figure, but without the two ports on the ends there. This is a beautiful figure. This is my favourite out of the mould for the Pram, Transformers Pram Wheeljack mould. He has the green bananas of justice, which a lot of people could probably call them that. I think they're pretty cool. Again, this is a gimmick, sword gimmick. Now, if you lose these swords, you still don't lose any playability in this figure whatsoever, which is a great thing. The only thing that these swords are for is really he has swords because he has swords. Because it's just a reference to Wheeljack, as he has two katana swords. Katana. Or meant to be katana swords. And it has two swords. That's his character. Dead End, he really doesn't really need them, but yet they're a reference. But yet they suit him because they're green and it goes with his colour scheme. Same with Wild Rider, he has the same swords. I should have mentioned that Wild Rider has that gimmick also. But yet again, if you lose these things, it doesn't really matter. You've still got a good figure that is complete in its aesthetic look. And that's the whole damn point. But yeah, it is also nice to have it complete, but you don't need them in case you do lose them. And like Jim said about bad stuff, I mean, I thought it was actually quite a clever idea to include the way this was included, the missiles. Now, this is Inferno. Jim mentioned about Inferno. Basically, I picked this guy up. I've been after this guy for years, and I picked up at Auto Assembly last year, and I love Inferno. Yes, royalty. You know, that was a really bad impression, but I love the guy. He's awesome. And there he is with his pincer gun accessory that is essentially the mouth bit of his beast mode head. Which becomes the torso in robot mode. That's essentially how the gun should be. He should take the whole thing out, and that's his thing. And obviously, he shoots missiles, and the missiles, like Jim said, are here. These also become the hind legs, like Jim said. This is a gimmick that I thought was quite clever. That, you know, it's a good way to keep them displayed. It is in a way. But at the same time, you lose these things, like happened to Jim. You don't have the hind legs in beast mode, and if you lose this whole arm piece, he doesn't have his mouth in beast mode. So you have, you have a bit of a bigger problem on your hands, and getting a complete one of these is extremely hard. Jim knows first hand, and I knew first hand. I only managed to get this guy complete from a good friend Graham. Gareth. Gareth, yes, from Auto Assembly. So big thank you to you, sir, if you're watching. But yes, I love this figure. I think it's awesome. But yeah, like I just done there, I just lost it. If I really did lose that, that's his pincer bit for the mouth for his beast mode. Yes, that's a bit of a problem there. Now, this is going to be the last thing I'm going to show, and here is Jetstorm here. Beast Wars Jetstorm. Many of you will probably be aware I'm a big fan of Minibots, I'm a big fan of Beast Wars, all the line of Beast Wars, and things like that. Now, this guy has an extremely interesting... This is Beast Wars Jetstorm, I did mention that. He has a very interesting gimmick indeed. Now, he has missiles, as you can see, and this guy is complete. He has 2 green transparent missiles. Again, if you lost those, it wouldn't really take much from the figure itself, but yet it wouldn't really matter if you lost them, but yet it wouldn't look right without them, if that makes any sense. You wouldn't look right, but you wouldn't really lose the playability factor, if that, you know, I'm trying to make that more sensible there. But also, he has an extremely interesting gimmick, as many people that have this guy would know. He has a water gun as a gimmick, which is basically this bottom bit, which is the his insect mode tail, and you somehow fill it in with water, and you press this bit upwards like that, and then it squirts out of his mouth to be like maybe like venom or something. That's a gimmick for me personally. I think it's probably the worst idea I could think of. I mean, for a child, yes, it'd probably work, because kids with water guns is probably the, you know, it goes together like bread and butter. But I just think for a Transformer is probably one of the most lamest ideas for a gimmick I can ever think of. So this is going to be my bad. So I'm going to say gimmick for Jetstorm here is bad, me personally. The best gimmick for me personally would have to be... Sorry Jim, I have to agree. Soundwave. So, good, bad. What's yours? Let's continue this and see what you guys think personally. Thank you for watching. This has been my good and bad on gimmicks. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye bye.